G'day viewers, welcome to the land of the Dutch, and we're on Zwolle Groningen and we're going to learn how to drive the Koploper. Now I just want to say before we start that I'm still learning this thing, so let's hope I get this right. So come up and step inside, close this door, and we're going to go up the stairs all the way up. And we're going to sit in the driver's seat to take possession. Okay, let's get started. First up is a master key, as always. And we want to set our main mode selector to driving. And we can turn on our headlights. There's 3 of them to turn on. All of these. Might want your gauge lights on as well. That's up to you. And we'll put our compressor on automatic, train supply voltage to on, and EP brakes to on. We'll also pull the brake lock so that we take control of the brakes on the train. And now let's go and turn on the safety systems, preferably without falling down the stairs. So there's one here which is ATB, and there's another one up here for the dead man. So I've got a separate tutorial on ATB. I will explain what's happening during this one as well. But I have got a separate tutorial with both trains with ATB. Now, next up, we want to put our reverser into forwards. Have I done everything? I think so. Put our reverser into forwards, and we will release the brakes, and we can do a little bit of power. Now, the power settings, now this is what I think these are anyway. We do have a red signal in front of us, but the first ones that all start with S are for series, and then you get into the parallel set. Let's come back off the power because we do actually have a red signal in front of us, so we'll just be waiting for that. Signals on this line, from what I've seen so far, seem to be relatively simple. They're either green, yellow, or red, which is kind of handy. Green meaning okay to go, red meaning stop, and yellow meaning there's a signal coming up, albeit stop. So I'm already speeding, great demonstration, so we'll just bring our speed back down below 20. There we go. Now, speedo is represented here. So this is, and we're doing the right speed. Dead man, and that's B or circle or Q to acknowledge. I acknowledged that a bit slowly, so it did actually put the brakes on, but it's released them as soon as I've acknowledged it. You have to be pretty quick on the dead man. So now that that's released, we should be able to drive again. Yep, we can. Good. So as I was saying, this is the speedometer, the horizontal bar. The interface between the black and white is showing you how fast you're going. These lights are part of ATB, so they show what speed you're allowed to do. Let me just get the speed down because we're not supposed to go over 20 in here. Windscreen wipers are here, if you can turn them on. There we go. Back to off. Door controls, left and right, and release is one of these, I think. Actually, no, I lie. It's just, you just open it, left or right, but anyway. And I acknowledge that too slowly again, so I put the brakes on again, but that's okay. It's letting us drive again. There we go, we'll release. It's releasing by itself. You've got to be so quick with the dead man. So quick that I have to say I probably won't ever drive with it turned on, but for the purposes of the tutorial, it's on. You can turn it off pretty much anytime you want as long as you're not actively driving, if you find it annoying. Now, the ATB system is pretty simple. It's really similar to the ATC that you find on Boston Providence or the New Boston. It's similar to the automatic train control system on Long Island Railroad. Basically, the system tells you how fast to go. If you go over that, it stops you. As you're approaching adverse signals, you need to slow down for those signals and be prepared to stop. If you are going too fast, it will stop you. Oh, that system is annoying. Because I reacted quite quickly to that. That's just fast. Coming up in front of us, you can see a 4 inside a square sign. That means that we're allowed to do 40 kilometres an hour after the back of our train passes that point. All the little yellow things you see everywhere are part of the ATB system. Now, you'll notice that signal, well, you might not notice it, but the signal also had a number to go with the colour light indicator. If it wants you to slow down, it will tell you there, and it represents the same thing that the signs on the track do. So if it says 6, you have to go down below 60. If it says 4, you have to go down below 40. We are now allowed to do 40, so we will. Got that one quick enough. That took quite a few presses, by the way. I was mashing that key. Now, we're going too fast here, so I need to go into train brake 3. And we've gotten it below 40, so it's letting us go. So I have got a separate tutorial on how to recover from being stopped, but I'll do it now just to show you. So I'm going to deliberately go too fast. And I'm going to let the train stop me, because it will, because we'll be going over the speed. Actually, I've got to get up over 80 now because I've left it a little while. When this gets over 80 kilometres an hour, I'm going to let it stop the train. I'm not going to react. There you go. The long buzzer tells us that we're over the speed and we need to react. And now it's put the brakes on. So what we do now is bring our throttle all the way back to 0. The 3 buzzers means we're below the speed limit. Come on, dead man. Looks like you have to whack the dead man button more than once. This 4 in a triangle means slow down to below 40, but we're being stopped by an emergency stop. So you put your brakes into brake 7, so train brake 7 on the brake handle, which is down here. Then you press the Ontgrendelen button, and you can release the brakes now. And you watch on this gauge, you can see that we're charging back up to 5 bar, and you can see the brakes have started to release because this is the amount of braking pressure being applied. When the right-hand needle gets below 1 bar, you'll be able to accelerate. Now, the game's got a proper tutorial for ATB. I suggest you do it, but also watch my tutorial because I explain a couple of other things, which I think just make it more relatable to some of the existing safety systems to help you learn how to drive these things. I had to mash that 4 times then. Now, we are only allowed to do 40 through here because the ATB system is telling me to do 40, despite the HUD telling me to do 80. The ATB system wins. So it's the lowest speed of the ATB or the HUD. So let's continue our magical high-speed run here. When we get into Groningen, I will... So that took 4 again. 4 mashes of the button. Makes me wonder if the train's cycling through the various buttons that the acknowledgement could press, rather than acknowledging them all at once. Right, so we've got another 4 in a square, which tells us we're coming up to a 40 zone. We're already doing less than 40. It is special, however, because we have got a yellow signal. If your signal is yellow, you need to slow down to a speed that you can stop for the next one, which generally means stay under 40, regardless of what it says. When we get into Groningen, I will stop. Groningen, I think it is. We'll stop and I'll show you how to shut the thing down as though you were changing ends. Four pushes again. That to me seems wrong, but maybe it's deliberate. I shall find out. Alright, we're coming in here, so let's get some brakes on before we run into the end of the road up here. In fact, since we're coming into a dead-end platform, I might as well do the whole change ends. So if I need to, I'll just return to free roam and we'll change ends. There we go. That should be just about the right spot too. All right, so let us return to free roam and we'll just shut down this. So it wants us to open the doors. I've just used the Y key to do that, but you can also just use the button here. Now, first up, reverser to neutral. You want to make sure that's at 0, which it is. Bring our mode selector to off. Brakes back to running. Don't know if you can do anything with the pin, but let's turn our switches off here. So turn off the compressor, turn off the power. I'm not actually sure you would need to turn off the voltage when you're going up the other end, but I'm just doing it because it's the reverse of the other procedure. Turn off the headlights, then our all tail lights. We should be able to remove the master key now, and then we can go up the other end, which we will. Should be able to leave the safety systems on, that shouldn't be a problem. We'll go through into the passenger section, get that door closed behind us, and pop outside and run up the other end. And then in theory, we should be able to set the train up the same way at the other end, and we'll just drive away. Already wants us to lock the doors, so it's clearly a tight timetable for people who want to play a shift like this. So we can come in the cab door here. We couldn't do that before. And there we go. Interesting that we fell on the tracks and then went up. Let's turn on... We can turn on our switches. Can you? Guess you can. ATB on, and Dead Man, which I need to be able to get on too. Looks like I can't do Dead Man till the train's turned on, which is... Oh, this is an AI driver in it. Okay. Alright, so... Master key. And headlights for a start. Try and get the sequence right. Then compressor. Train voltage. EP brakes. Yank the brake lever so the brakes come into play. Put it into driving. Now can I turn this switch on? Or is it that one? I'm sure it's that one. Doesn't look like I can turn on Dead Man from this end. Maybe it's remembered it's already on from the other end. It's possible. But let's jump back in the chair because it's time to lock the doors. So I've used the U key to do that, or it's the right on your D-pad. Now in theory, brakes are already released, so in theory we can just drive. See if it... Oops, no, one more thing to do. Reverser forward. When you're stopped, you should put your reverser into neutral. And there we go. Change ends procedure completed. I managed to fumble my way through it, so there we go. If you've got any questions, chuck them down below and I'll see what I can do to help you out. Sorry, I still have this rather nasty cough and throat. It's getting better, slowly. But anyway, if you've got any questions, chuck them below. I'll see what I can do to help you out. If I don't know the answer, I'll go back to the source and try and find out for you. New route, new country, new systems. It's a little bit to learn. It's not really that daunting. It is a fairly easy train to drive. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. See you later.
we play the game.